Hey rock stars, this is Carla DeRosa, and this is day 5 of our spring clean cleanse. Ooh, 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 ooh. We got it, we got it, we got it, we got it. So I just wanted to jump in here real quick because I gotta bounce, but I want to talk to you about how you can make the cheapest probiotics on the planet. So let's talk a little bit about probiotics. So pro means good, right? Knew that. Biotic means life, right? So probiotic means good life. So we're mostly bacteria, right? Like bacteria outnumbers our cells, I think like 100 to 1. So we're more bacteria than we actually are human cells. Isn't that crazy? And so having a good bacteria balance makes all the difference in the world. And we're so like using the hand sanitizer and growing things in, labs, like we don't have the natural probiotic good life that we used to get from farm grown food, right? So farm grown food is grown in the ground near manure, bugs, worms. So there's a lot of opportunity for all these different strains of probiotic, good life, to grow and proliferate. So the average person has about 500 different strands of probiotic, and it's like a fingerprint. So it's so individual to you that there is a procedure that they do in very extreme cases where people have no biotics, they've been totally wiped out, is they do a fecal transplant. And it's interesting because horses do the same thing for their calves. So when a mother horse gives birth, that's the first thing she does. She transfers some of her fecal matter to her baby. And what happens is the baby calf is inoculated. So it has all the good bacteria that the mom had. And so that's what happens when we have vaginal births. That's why, C-section birth is not necessarily as preferred, because there's a lot of things that usually happens naturally that we don't even think of that babies miss out on. So that's one of them, to get inoculated with your mom's materials so that you have the same probiotics as she has, and so that you have just as a strong of system and good probiotic life in you that your mom has. So we all been using bleach, using hand sanitizer, going crazy, cleaning up everything, taking dirt. Oh, we can't have any dirt. Well, we're also killing that life. And when we take antibiotics, oh my God. So anti means not against, right? Biotics, life. So antibiotics wipe out everything. That's why a lot of doctors now recommend, get some yogurt, get some, other probiotics. And they'll even give you like this crazy antibiotic dose. And then they'll turn around and give you like some probiotics to wipe out an infection, I guess. But my thing is try to work it out yourself before you go that extreme, because I've had people in my family, every time they go to the doctor, get antibiotics for UTIs, urinary tract infection, antibiotics for this and that. And then when they get older and they get an infection, they go to the doctor. Now they're antibiotic resistant. The antibiotic has no effect. And also another problem is, it wipes out your good bacteria, your probiotics. So in the meantime, you're wiping out your good probiotics, and now you're resistant. And don't be a meat eater who's eating on animals that get a whole bunch of antibiotics every day. Now you're totally going to be antibiotic resistant. And so when you go in the hospital or you get sick when older in life, they're trying all these different antibiotics, wiping out more of your good probiotic material more and more, and then they wonder why you get sicker and sicker. Well, we're mostly bacteria. We need those guys. All right, so if you go to the store, you're gonna pay anywhere from like $12, $15 for some chewables. Then you get more into the advanced double wrapped probiotics, because probiotics, when you take them, your stomach acid immediately starts to work on anything that you eat, anything. So when you take probiotics, if they're not strong, if there's not a lot of organisms in there, a lot of times by the time they get in your stomach, they're gone, right? Those little they're just little organisms. And according to the National Institute of Health, like I shouldn't say none, but 3 out of 4 was the statistic. So let me not exaggerate. Of the probiotics in the not the health food stores, but the regular pharmacies, like the pharmacies on every corner, 75% of them had no probiotic material at all. So what's the point? And they're expensive. And so we're taking these pills and they have no probiotic, but that's why they make them. They may have some, they'll say like 20 billion organisms, 50 million organisms at time of shipping or at time of production. Yeah, that might have been months ago. They've been sitting on the shelf for a long time. They're in that hot truck, took them across country. By that time, those little guys are dead. They're very fragile. They're very fragile. So anyway, I'm gonna help you avoid paying all that money for all those different probiotics, which most of them are null, unless you do go to a good health food store like 7 Under. They have a few good brands, yes, of probiotics, but they can be expensive, especially if you're doing them continuously. So I like to do probiotics like during the time that I'm doing a cleanse like this, but also in the meantime, I want to be building up my own probiotic matter in my body through my food. And so I'm going to show you how to do that. So I got a nice purple cabbage here. So another fun fact. So the most expensive probiotics come from they're SBOs, soil-based organisms. So it's like, wow, $90 a bottle is the average for these soil-based organisms, and they're very powerful. Like they're the ones that you would want to get. They're the premium brands of probiotics. But think about that, soil-based organisms. Soil-based organisms, like it's from the dirt that would be on your vegetables if we were actually getting them from a farm, right? And if we actually grew our own food and we were playing in the dirt, it's gonna get on you. It's gonna get in you. Case in point, there was a very popular study of some school kids, I think in the Midwest, they never got sick. And it's like, why? Why did all the other kids get sick and these kids didn't get sick? Well, these kids worked on a farm, and so the researchers asked them if they could, see what they do. And parents were like, sure. I'm sure they might have offered them something or whatever. So they came in, they're watching the kids, and the kids are like doing what they do on the farm. Well, the researchers couldn't figure it out. They're like, they're regular kids, they eat peanut butter like other kids, they put on their pants leg one leg at a time, other kids. So the researchers were befuddled. Well, let me tell you, on a lunch break, one of the researchers noticed that the kid was making a peanut butter sandwich, one of the kids, and although they said they washed their hands, right, you know how kids wash their hands. So on the peanut butter sandwich bread was like the kid's handprint. That's how dirty the kid's hand was, still dirty. But the kid just went on and ate his peanut butter sandwich with the dirty handprint. But that was the soil. That's the soil-based organisms. And that's why those kids never got sick, right? So go play in the dirt if you want to be healthy, if you want to have more organisms. All right, so this recipe is in my book. This is Rejuvalac. So I'm not going to go into the whole story of where Rejuvalac came from, but it's a fermented cabbage drink. And so you take about a cup of raw cabbage, and you're going to put it in your blender. And actually, let me grab the book and let me see. Let me try to be a little bit professional here, even though I'm trying to get out the door. So in my book, it's recipe 16. So this is Rock Your Life, 21 Planet-Inspired Recipes. And it is, oh, so I'm gonna need 2 cups actually, because I'm doing two quart jars. But I'm just gonna pulse blend the cabbage in the water, and really that's it. So I have a couple other things to tell you, but this was popularized by Ann Wigmore, who is a famous raw foodist. She reversed her cancer from eating raw foods. Namely, she is actually credited for wheatgrass juice. And so she reversed her cancer with raw food, and she opened the Hippocrates Institute or something like that, and now it's another organization, but she's like a pioneer in raw food, and she was just eating grass because she was starving, and then she just messed around and got well and was like, dang, what was that? Yeah, exactly. All right, so we put our cabbage. Let me put a little bit more since I have 2 jars, but actually that looks pretty good. But it's a cup per, it's 1 cup chopped cabbage, and it's 3 cups alkaline or filtered water. All right, so here we go. All right, and you just want to chop it up just a little bit, not too fine, okay? And we're done. We're done with our machine. Oh, I just made enough for 1. That's fine. I'm just going to demo with the 1. All right, let me fill it up. Make sure I don't have a lot of air in it. So 1 cup of chopped cabbage, 3 cups of water, fill it up to the top, try to not have a lot of air in it. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put the top on it, but I'm not gonna actually let it stay out on my countertop for 3 days. And so that's gonna cause it to ferment. So, and you notice I didn't pull off any of the outside leaves. So the outer leaves are the ones that are considered the coating leaves, because they're gonna be impacted with the most probiotic materials. So whatever probiotic materials were in the soil, and this is an organic cabbage, so I'm not afraid of pesticides, fungicides, herbicides. Supposedly organic produce don't have that. But I didn't wash it too well. I just rinsed it a little bit so I wouldn't have sand in it, but I didn't wash it, you know, and I didn't peel off all the leaves and throw them away. I left most of the outer leaves and I cut right through them. And so the outer leaves are the coating leaves. So they have the probiotic code. And so putting them here in this jar with the water, now I'm saying grow that organism. So it's going to sit here for 3 days, ferment at room temperature, and then after that I can strain the cabbage out. I can still eat the cabbage. It's not going to taste like anything, it's going to taste like watery cabbage. So I can season it and it would be like a fermented cabbage, like kind of like sauerkraut, but it won't be very sour after only 3 days. But it'd be soft enough to digest really easily. One of the things I like about cabbage is that it's full of glutamine. Glutamine is an amino acid that repairs cells like nobody's business. So this is really good for leaky gut. So we're gonna drink this Rejuvalac drink. So when I come back in 3 days, so today is Friday, so Saturday, Sunday, Monday. So Monday we'll harvest, we'll open our Rejuvalac and we'll have some. And so if it's done right, like you don't have too much air on it, it will be like a little effervescent, a little sour. You know, you can imagine cabbage and water sitting around for 3 days, but it's not bad actually. And like I said, it's very healing with the glutamine and the probiotics. And literally, you know, if I divide the servings of what I'm gonna drink out of here, it's pennies. Because you see, I only use a small amount of cabbage and use mostly water. So it's mostly water, a little bit of cabbage, and I'm growing my own probiotics. I'm helping them proliferate by letting them ferment. So that is Rejuvalac champagne, recipe number 16. I'll drop the link in the comments if you want to make it, if you want to buy the book, and just hang in there. So we're doing this 21 day. Spring Clean Cleanse, and this is day 5. So all you have to do is I'll drop a link to register. It's completely free, which is unheard of. And but join in, try it, see how your body reacts to raw food. In yesterday's live, I went through my whole story, like my whole 20-minute story about how I was a sick kid all my life with stomach problems and how raw food just wiped out all the symptoms in 10 days, which is true. And so if you want more of the details of how I did that, just check out yesterday's live. I won't do that again. But, this is one of the things that helped repair, because that was one of the problems with my digestion, was leaky gut. I had leaky gut, didn't know. Had systemic candida, didn't know. So these things we can work on and heal ourselves. So jump in, join our 21-day Spring Clean Cleanse. This is Carla DeRosa, your wellness rock star, signing off. Peace, rock stars. Have a great night. I'll see you tomorrow. Right there in the corner.